So there are a ton of people making money selling digital products, but what is the best way to get started in this business if you're a complete beginner? Well, I personally made over 7 figures with this one digital product business. And the best part is that you don't need a degree, you don't need existing followers, you don't even need to create a website. And I think this is one of the simplest business model that I know of. Because all you need is a laptop, internet connection, and obviously a willingness to learn. I've built this business while living in places like Bali, Thailand, Hawaii, different parts of Europe and Latin America. And this is the business model that I've finally found success in after failing in online businesses for 4 straight years. Like I tried MLM, e-commerce, affiliate marketing, blogging, and for 4 straight years, I've kept failing, losing money, literally made like $100 in 4 years until I found this business model and I actually started making real money online. So what is this business? Well, this business model is called Amazon KDP, which stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, and basically you create and sell your books on Amazon. Now, before you go and say, oh, I cannot do this because I'm not a writer, don't worry, I am not a writer. English is my second language. I'm actually from Japan originally, born and raised, and I still made close to $2 million doing this business. So I'm going to show you how you can build this without being a writer, but before I move forward, I do want to give you a very clear disclaimer here, because every single time I bring up how much I made personally doing this, or my students' results, or books that are actually being sold on Amazon, how much those are making, like these are real numbers. I'm not making this up, but just because I bring up numbers, YouTube thinks that I am making exaggerated income claims, which is honestly ridiculous because again, these are real numbers, like I'm not lying here. And never once in my videos in the history of this channel that I ever promise any results. I always say that results aren't guaranteed. I'm just showing what's possible. But despite that, YouTube has been removing my videos, which is very frustrating. This is a very clear disclaimer for YouTube. This is not financial advice. I'm not promising any results just because I made the kind of money that I said I made. And also I might show you some student results in this video. I might show some successful books on Amazon of people actually doing this business model. And even though those are all real results, I am not making this up. Obviously, the results you get depends on how much work you put in, right? I cannot guarantee anything. All right, so hopefully the viewers understand that, and YouTube, if you're watching this, please don't remove my videos again. So with that being said, let's go into how this actually works, okay? So we are essentially acting like a small independent publishing company. So if you hear of, big publishing company like Penguin Random House, Simon & Schuster, those type of companies, they are not publishing books that they wrote themselves, right? They work with different authors and they are publishing on their behalf. So in a way, we do something similar, except that we don't work with other authors. We create our own books. But in essence, the business model is very similar. So publishing companies analyze trending topics. So they see what's selling really well right now, right? And they find authors and publish the book on their behalf. So we're doing something very similar in a smaller scale. And if you're wondering again, what if I'm not a writer? How do I do this? Well, you don't have to be, right? Again, English is my second language. I published a ton of books, literally hundreds of books. I had massive success with this. You can obviously write the books yourself if you are good at writing, but you can also hire ghostwriters, other people to write books for you. You can also use AI nowadays if you use it correctly. You cannot just rely on AI 100%, but if you know how to use it, you can actually create some pretty good books. And these are some of my students' results in my paid coaching program. I really hope YouTube doesn't take down this video just because I'm showing income here, right? So again, guys, please understand this is not typical results. I'm not guaranteeing anything. These are some of the better student results, but these are actually not the best student results, right? I'm actually not using the best one. It's still good, but again, it's still not average though. So this student over here made $161,000 his first year with 10 books. This student over here earned over $1 million in about 2.5 years. And again, guys, not typical results, but we do have a lot of other students doing well. So essentially, guys, what I'm trying to say is that this business model does work if you put some work into it. But, of course, I cannot guarantee anything. Now, the reason why I think Amazon KDP is one of the best business model for beginners is because of these factors. Number one, you don't need to make a website because you can just sell directly on Amazon. That's the website, right? Selling on Amazon. It's actually much, much harder to make your own website because it's a lot more work. You have to pay for those websites like hosting and domain and those kind of things. So it's extra money. And if you don't have a big following, no one's really going to visit your website and buy from this random website when they already trust Amazon, right? They trust Amazon. They're going to go to Amazon and buy from it, but they're not going to buy it from your own website. And on top of that, selling things on your own website is just, you have to basically do everything yourself. Fulfillment, customer service, refund, payment processing. So normally in most other digital product-based businesses, people will tell you to build your own website and start selling things on there, right? But if you do that, again, you have to figure out how to do shipping and handling, figure out how to do inventory if you're selling physical products, or if you're just doing digital products, you still have to build the website. You got to get traffic, meaning get people into the website. You have to do customer service, right? Even after you sell it, sometimes people want a refund, sometimes they want, additional customer service. You have to do that. You got to do marketing and promotions. All of this can come with expensive fees and softwares, a lot of upfront risk, right? But by selling on Amazon literally do all of this for you. Because if you're selling a paperback book, a physical book, as an example, they do the shipping and handling, they do the inventory, right? If you're selling ebook, audiobooks, those are all digital products, you don't have to do that. But still, they provide the website. They have millions of people already visiting Amazon trying to search for something. So it's a lot easier to get traffic. You don't have to do customer service. Amazon actually does that. And this is the only business that I know of that actually does customer service for you. Amazon also provides marketing and promotions. You should also do marketing yourself, but Amazon helps out a lot with that as well. And because you can do everything on Amazon, they do everything for you. You don't need expensive fees and softwares to get started, and which means a lot less upfront risk. So as a beginner, right, you're a beginner in online businesses. You don't have a lot of skills. You don't have a lot of experiences. Then the reason why I think this is very beginner friendly is because there's a lot less things you have to learn. Because in other businesses, you have to not only learn, how to create a product, how to do the research, how to do the marketing, but on top of that, you have to figure out how to do shipping and handling, how to build your own website, how to do inventory, how to do customer service, those kind of things, like so many different moving parts. But because Amazon does all of that for you, all you have to do is focus on the few things, which is research the topic, create the book, and go and market it. That's all you have to do. So it's a lot easier for beginners because there's just simply a lot less things to learn. So why Amazon KDP specifically? Why do I like this business besides what I just mentioned? Well, essentially there are 3 types of freedom: financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom. Financial freedom, obviously this is what everybody wants, just being able to afford everything you want to, right? But a lot of people ignore the other 2 types of freedom, which is time freedom. Basically, you can just do whatever you want anytime you want. So you're not bound to a strict work schedule. Like you don't have to clock in at a certain time. You don't have to wake up at a certain time. That's time freedom. Location freedom is being able to live anywhere you want. You're not bound to a single location. And people don't realize that, a lot of businesses, they don't offer all 3 types of freedom. It's very, very rare to find a business that gives you all 3 types of freedom, but only when you have all 3 of these freedom. I call this the freedom trifecta. If you have this, that's when you have complete freedom because you can basically afford anything. You can do whatever you want anytime you want, and you can go and live anywhere you want. Like you're not literally bound to anything. But if you work a service-based business, as an example, you're always working for someone else, right? You are working for your clients, your customers, and you're always going to be dealing with clients complaining, difficult clients, this and that. And if you stop working, you stop getting paid. And you don't have any time freedom because, first of all, you're trading your time for money. But on top of that, you're going to have to do a lot of sales calls, a lot of meetings, a lot of doing the work when your client asks you to. So that is why you don't have any time freedom, because it's not working whenever you want. It's not waking up whenever you want. If you have a meeting in the morning, you got to go and do the meeting, right? You can't just say, oh, I want to just go to this remote island with no Wi-Fi for 3 months and live there. Well, if you do that, you will make zero money, right? Because you stop delivering the service. So that's why service-based business does not have any time freedom. What about physical product-based businesses, right? These are like the real estate investing, the Amazon FBA, like dealing with physical product stuff. Well, you need to do stuff like packing, shipping, making the product yourself. Obviously, eventually once you scale, you can start outsourcing, but most people often ship and package the product at their house and then they send it to the customer, and before they scale, they do that. Well, if you have products sent to your place all the time just to check for the quality or to do the shipping, it's super hard for you to travel, right? Because if you travel, obviously you can't ship products to wherever you're traveling around. So you're tied to one location because someone has to handle logistics. You can't just say, oh, I want to live in Bali, or I want to live in Thailand. I don't want to live in the US or wherever you live for whatever reason. So, oftentimes physical product-based businesses, you don't have any location freedom. But with Amazon KDP, you're running a digital product-based business. You don't have no physical products that's going to keep you to one location because everything is online. So you can go anywhere. You have location freedom. On top of that, with Amazon KDP specifically, not just a digital product-based business, but because Amazon does the customer service, because you don't have to deal with none of those things, you don't have no meeting. You don't have no clients that you have to respond to. You can literally work this business whenever you want. So you have time freedom as well, and also potentially financial freedom, right? So I say you can achieve financial freedom, location freedom, and time freedom. Once again, YouTube, I'm not guaranteeing anything. please don't remove this video. So you can also do this completely anonymously by using pen names. So like J.K. Rowling is a pen name. A lot of people publish books under their pen name. It's up to you on whether you want to do that or not. And unlike other businesses where when you stop selling your service, you instantly stop getting paid, or if you run out of your physical product inventory, you instantly stop making money. With digital products, you make it once and you keep selling it over and over and over. And by being on Amazon and Amazon doing all the work, it can be pretty passive. Okay, I'm not guaranteeing passive income, semi-passive. Okay, so we have this student that had a health issue, so he couldn't work for basically the entire month. That's what he says here. But he still made $4,800 in revenue, around $3,000 profit. So that's the great thing. Again, you can go and not work on the business for a month or, however long for whatever reason, and your income can potentially, hold up for a pretty good amount. And this industry is, believe it or not, still growing. People say, oh, do people even read books anymore? Yes. The publishing industry is growing by 16% every single year. The audiobook market is projected to triple by 2030 as more and more people switch over to audiobooks. So this is why I do think Amazon KDP is the closest thing to digital real estate. A lot of people want to do real estate because of the rental checks, being considered passive income, even though it's actually not very passive, right? Well, you can essentially do something similar digitally. So, this is like real estate without the huge upfront costs and all the work of maintenance and all that. Because each book you publish is kind of like a rental unit, right? You do the work once, you upload it to Amazon, and Amazon is, handling a lot of things. There's a lot of traffic going to Amazon. So again, the sales holds up a good amount. I am not saying it's 100% passive. You do still have to keep pushing traffic and stuff, but oftentimes Amazon helps a lot. And again, it stays live on Amazon forever. Like this book is going to be on Amazon forever. Amazon's not going away. You're not building a business on shaky grounds. Like Amazon's by far the biggest marketplace, right? And it's not going away anytime soon. Now, going back to my personal results, I actually made multiple six figures a year for many, many years. I eventually sold my first KDP account for $820,000. So just like e-commerce, a lot of people sell their business in e-commerce. You can do the same thing, right? So you can sell your KDP business. This is my first account, and now I'm building my second one. Once again, guys, results not guaranteed. I'm sorry I have to keep repeating this, but YouTube, I swear, they are like, no matter how many times I say these disclaimers, they keep removing my videos. It's getting really frustrating. So bear with me for this video. I just really want to make sure these videos don't get removed. So great thing is Amazon is investing heavily in AI themselves, and AI is making this process a lot easier. So that is another amazing factor. So how does KDP work specifically? Well, you can publish many different types of books. So these are low content book examples, and low content books are like journals, planners, those kind of thing. It has low content, like not a lot of content inside, and it still makes a lot of money. Like these are, again, we're cherry picking good books, but there are a lot of books that sells way better than this, and there are a lot of books that sells way worse than this. So these are just example purposes, okay? A lot of books over here, like Between Mom and Me, so it's a mother-son keepsake journal, grandmother guided journal for grandmas, right? Daily gratitude journal, father-daughter journal, prayer journal for teen girls. A lot of these are doing decent amount of income. Medium content books are basically coloring books, activity books. It has a little bit more content inside, and once again, doing some decent amount of money. But again, I'm not guaranteeing every single book would do that much, right? But we got cupcake coloring books, like coloring books specifically for cupcakes, dinosaur coloring book, unicorn coloring book, mindfulness coloring book, anxiety relief coloring book. There are a lot of different types of books you can create. It's really up to you on like what kind of books you enjoy creating and what kind of books you want to go and create. So this is high content books. Like these are nonfiction, fiction books. I like to do nonfiction books. And so we have, this is a gardening book examples, doing, I don't even want to mention the income because I'm really like honestly nervous about YouTube removing my videos. So I'm not going to say it, but you guys can see how much it's making. So how do you get started here? Well, step one, you want to start with topic research. So this is extremely important. Like, you might be watching this video and now you have a lot of ideas on, oh, I can write a book on this and I can write a book on this. That's great, guys. It's good to have a lot of ideas. But if you don't make sure those ideas are actually profitable before you actually create a book, there's a pretty good chance that you're not going to make any sales. So it's super important. So you have to do market research. You have to validate your book topic first before creating a book on it. Great thing is Amazon actually tells you which books are selling. Like the data is literally on Amazon. They give you that for free. So as an example, I use decluttering as a topic example all the time, but let's say I want to create a book on decluttering. So all I'm going to do is type my book topic here, search for books, and because I have this tool called Bookbeam, I can actually see how much these books are making, right? So this one is doing $138 a day just from the audiobook version. This is doing $17 a day, $26 a day, $15 a day. And these are not made up numbers. These are actual money that they're making. But for you, obviously you don't have Bookbeam. So what you want to do is just open up these books here and get to the product page. And from here, you scroll down to where you see the section called product details. And over here, it says the bestsellers rank 11,444 in books. So what this means is that this is the 11,444th best-selling book in the entire bookstore. If this number says number 1 in books, that means it's the number 1 best-selling book in the entire bookstore. So in terms of BSR, bestsellers rank, the lower the better. Okay. And you want to find books that are below 80,000 for this. Because if it's doing around 80,000 BSR, we can assume that that book is probably doing around $500 a month. So $500 a month is like when it starts becoming worth it to create a book. Okay. And if it's doing a lot lower than 80K BSR, like this one, then it's doing a lot more than $500 a month. There's another example over here. You just scroll down and it says 55,000. So it should be doing a little bit more than $500 a month. So I already mentioned this, but again, you want to look for books with 80K BSR or below, because if it's doing around 80K, it's doing around $500 a month. You want to find at least 3+ books that fits that criteria, because that's when you start seeing it as a pattern. So once you see that, it's a good sign that it's profitable. And if those books on page 1 has low reviews, that's also a good sign that you don't need a ton of reviews to rank as well. Now that you confirm that the topic is profitable, like in this case, decluttering is a profitable topic, we move on to step 2, which is creating the book. Now, there are 2 ways to create the book. Number 1, do it yourself if you want to save money, or if you want to save time and you don't want to deal with creating the book yourself, you can pay someone else to write the book for you. In terms of doing it yourself, you can utilize AI. So you can use AI to cut costs and time as well. There's an amazing way to help you write faster. However, as I say here, guys, a lot of people blame me on how Amazon is being flooded with low quality AI garbage right now, because that's actually what's happening. When literally for the past 3 years, never once in my entire channel did I say that you can just whip up a super low quality AI written crap and just publish it on Amazon and make money. Like that's literally, I never said that even once in my life, right? What I always say is you never copy paste from AI and just publish it, because when you do that, your book almost always sucks. So you can use AI to create a first draft, right? But from there, you want to edit the content, add your personal stories, add your personal experiences, or, fact check the book, because AI is not 100% right all the time, and then just make it unique. So it's not just copy paste done, but still, using AI makes things a lot faster, a lot easier. Even if you're not a writer, even though I'm not a writer, I can still go through this process and create a book that I believe is still good quality. So if you want a step-by-step tutorial on this, I filmed a separate video. I'll leave a link in the description below for you guys to check it out. And let's say you don't want to deal with that and you just want to hire ghostwriters, which is a very common practice. Almost all books from politicians, athletes, celebrities, they don't write books themselves. They just use ghostwriters, right? So again, super common practice in the publishing space. But I did film a video on the best ghostwriting company. If you guys want to check it out, the link is also in the description. And so once you create your book, the next thing you need is to create your book cover. Right? And book cover, same thing. If you're a designer, you want to design it yourself, you can definitely do it. But a lot of times you can outsource these things very cheaply, like a lot cheaper than you think. Like as an example, this gig over here on Fiverr, I've worked with her many times, like tens of times, right? Over the past couple years. She creates a book cover for literally just $10. And I usually pay for the $30 option because I want the best quality. But you can get a ebook version, paperback version, and it's probably better than what you can create yourself on Canva. But this is another thing that I want you to keep in mind is you still should have a good idea of like, what makes a good book cover design or not. So you still got to work with them, but it's probably a lot better than trying to design it yourself on Canva. But again, that is up to you. If you guys want to check out this gig, I'll leave a link in the description. And once you have your book written as well as your book cover ready, then it's time to go and upload the book. So you just want to look up Amazon KDP on Google, get to this page, just sign up, create your account. The great news about this, completely free, right? There's no sign up fees. There's no monthly fees. There's no listing fees like Etsy, right? A lot of people try to sell books on Etsy. Then you got to deal with listing fees, customer service, all of that. You don't have to do any of that with Amazon KDP. So you just enter your bank and tax details so you can get paid. And once you're done uploading the book, what's going to happen is KDP team will review your book. It usually takes between 1 to 3 days. If they reject the book, you will have the chance to just fix it, right? You can just fix it and resubmit it. Or if it's all good to go, then it'll be live, selling on Amazon in 1 to 3 days. So you can call yourself a published author after that, which is super cool. But from there, once the book is live, what we want to do is to start focusing on marketing strategies, which is basically getting reviews and sales. Now, as I said many times, just by being on Amazon, there's a pretty good chance that you're going to make sales here and there. You know, for whatever reason, even though the book is literally on page 50 or page 100 with 0 reviews, a lot of times it still makes a sale here or a sale there. So that is awesome, right? But those are just a couple bucks here, a couple bucks there. You're not going to be making, tens of thousands of dollars per month if you don't actually do the marketing. So although Amazon helps with the traffic, you still want to supplement yourself. So all you have to do is go to YouTube, look up Sean DeWitt book reviews, Sean DeWitt, marketing or Amazon ads. And I have a ton of videos on how to do this. I will also leave a link to some of the videos in the description. Now, from there, I do want to touch on what else you can do, right? How can you scale this even further? Because this is the craziest thing about this business that I don't know if you can do it in any other business. And that is that you can turn this one book that you created into 7 more income streams, which is kind of nuts, right? But the first thing you can do is simply to turn it into different formats. So, we just created the ebook, right? But from here, you can turn it into a paperback book, right? So sell it as a physical copy. You can turn it into an audiobook. You can also sell it as a hardcover. So just like this, there's 4 different formats, 4 different income streams that you can sell. On top of that, you can translate your book into different languages. I can tell you from experience that other languages can be very profitable. People are making a full-time income just publishing it in French or Italian, right? Or German, Spanish. So by translating it, you can sell it as a whole new book. That's another income stream. The next one is creating bundles. So once you have more than 2 books, you can put it together and sell it as a box set like this. And this is, again, a whole new book that you created with the files that you already have. And because this is multiple books in one, you can price it higher, have higher royalties. You often make more money from the bundles. It's a better deal for the customer. And so it sells pretty well too. So in terms of timeline, like how quickly can you get to 10K a month or whatever your goal is? I personally, this is my personal results. I hit $10,000 per month in 10 months of doing this. So essentially like I was adding $1,000 per month every single month. That was my results, right? And, I've taught this strategy to a lot of my students. Our coaching program has over 2,000 members at this point. So I've seen a lot of results, right? So some of our students do it faster than that. Some students do it slower. It really depends. And I really cannot guarantee results. But I think a realistic goal would be to do around $5,000 to $10,000 per month in a year. But again, this really depends. I'm kind of nervous of saying that because, again, I'm scared of YouTube removing the video. So, please understand, no guarantees or anything. That's just what I'm seeing on my side, okay? So the biggest mistakes here is that chasing quantity over quality. A lot of people think that, oh, well, if one book makes $10 a month, right? What if I make 1,000 books? That'll make $10,000 per month, right? Each book making $10 a month. So then they go and, just spam garbage on Amazon using AI, no editing after generating the book on AI. They just spam it, right? Copy, paste, spam it. That is not a good approach, okay? So don't do that. You will most likely lose your account. Account termination is very rare in this business, but if you're clearly abusing Amazon, that could happen, okay? So focus on high quality books, producing high quality books, and less quantity. Few books doing a lot of money is better. Next mistake is not doing proper market research, as we talked about, or book covers. So if you want to invest more in creating a high quality book cover, it's almost always worth it, and not getting enough reviews. You have to get reviews. I got a ton of videos on how to get reviews, so go and check that out. So what's next from here? Because you made it all the way to this end of the video, which is awesome. So if you follow these strategies and you create a high quality book in a in-demand niche, chances are high you can start making sales. And by repeating these steps and publishing more books, your income can grow. So that is pretty much the overview of how this business works, why I think it's best for beginners, right? And what is the best way to get started, okay? So in terms of the next step, if you are, very, very interested in this business, if you do want to work with us, we do have Amazon KDP coaching program. So it's the first link in the description. You can apply for a free strategy call from that website. It's about 30 minutes. You talk to one of our coaches not a sales rep, actual coaches who's coaching, right? And they actually make good money from KDP themselves. We don't just hire random people. And you can talk to them and see if this program is a good fit for you. If not, no problem. I promise you, we don't do high pressure selling. So I'm pretty confident you're going to be surprised at how chill the calls are once you do it. But that's one option. A quick disclaimer is that this is a paid coaching program. We don't work with those looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? We don't work with entitled or rude people, and we don't work with people that we generally don't think we can help. Option number two, if a coaching program is too much too fast, obviously I have a lot of videos, so you can go and watch that. I personally think my videos are super in-depth. Obviously, it's not as in-depth as the paid program, but for a free content, I think it's pretty up there. So you can definitely start there and try this business out. So that is the end of the video. If you made it till the end, I want you to let me know in the comments. Comment "made it till the end," and I'll try to respond to as many comments as possible. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.